Okay, in the month of February, it is really the prime month for pruning most plants. The first thing you might look at is your ornamental grasses. If you have pampas grass, the monkey grass, anything, it's time to go ahead and trim those off at ground level and get ready for new growth. Shrubs, your deciduous shrubs, everything is dormant before it breaks for the spring. It's really a good time to prune your deciduous shrubs and your deciduous trees. An exception might be if you have a spring flowering shrub or tree like an azalea or something like that. You might wait till after that bloom and then trim those. But February is really the prime month for pruning and on shrubs and especially trees. If there's large limbs you need to prune, prune them. If you're pruning them back near the trunk of a tree, do not prune back below that collar. Prune out in front of that collar so it can heal itself there at the collar. So February really is your best month to prune. Also, grapevines. Here we are with some grapevines. February is really your prime month for pruning grapevines. And on most of your grape plants, you want to prune back and leave 2 or 3 buds on your grapevines next to the main arms that are coming out. So February is a great month for pruning most of your plants. So time to get out there and get it done. Okay, as far as lawn care goes for the month of February, one of the things that you can do is spray for your wild onions. Everybody calls them wild onions. They're technically, most of them are wild garlic. What you would need to spray would be what we call a 3-way spray. Trimec Plus, you can get that. Weed Be Gone is another product, I believe, that you can get. They all carry 3 ingredients, which is 2,4-D, Banville, and MCPP. So just keep you a mixture and a hand spray. Go around and spray these. It'll knock them down. It'll actually kill these. There may be more bulblets in your yard because the bulblets will stay alive and underground for several years. So it really takes about a 2-year program of going around and hitting your wild garlic whenever they pop up. But February is a good time to get started because it's easy to see them. They're always standing up taller than the lawn is at this point in time. Also, as far as your lawn goes, the month of February, believe it or not, it's the time of year to fertilize cool season grasses like our tall fescues. So hopefully you've got a soil test report. It's best to fertilize based on the soil test report. If not, you can make some guesses. You will not know on lime, but on nitrogen, you need to put out either half a pound to a pound of actual nitrogen, which that depends on which blend you're fertilizing with on how much to put out. So you really don't want to really over-fertilize. You'll be asking for diseases later in the summer if you do. But February, mid to late February is the time to put out your spring fertilizer for your fescue lawns. Okay, as far as sprays go in the month of February, not a lot really to spray. Only thing you might do as a home gardener is if you have fruit trees, you might put out a dormant oil spray that would kill some insects that might be emerging or in the egg stage or hiding in a crevice. So behind me you see an apple tree, and just below it, past it, is a peach tree. So if you have fruit trees in your home landscape, some dormant oil sprays might be appropriate now. One of the many flowers that are blooming in the month of February are daffodils, or a lot of people call them March flowers. But they usually bloom in February, which is kind of odd around here. But several of the daffodils are now blooming. There are several plants in flower in the month of February. One of those that you see here is the Lenten rose, or the Helleborus. Also crocuses. You may see some tulips starting to bloom in February, possibly some forsythia and a few things like that. Okay, in the month of February, is a time you can start planting some things in the garden. I really hadn't got started here yet, but things that you can plant in the month of February in your garden is peas, onions, potatoes, radishes, rutabagas, spinach, kale, turnips, and carrots. So many of those cold season crops, you can go ahead and get them started, and you'll be way under your way for the garden for 2012. Also, I forgot to mention you can plant asparagus crowns when the soil is dry enough to get those crowns in the ground. Things that you can plant in the month of February are things like peas, onions, potatoes. We can also put in radishes, spinach, kale, turnips, many of those greens, and carrots also in February. As you can see, really hadn't got started here yet, but if we get started in the month of February, we'll really get some good growth on those plants. And also you can put asparagus crowns in the garden in the month of February when the ground's dry enough. So get out there and get started on your 2012 garden. Okay, there are a couple things that you can fertilize in the month of February, and one of them is your trees, your shade trees. This is a good month to go out and sprinkle some complete fertilizer around the shade tree, and when you do so, sprinkle it out completely under the drip line, not right up against the trunk. And there are some guidelines. If you don't know how much, contact us at the extension office so we can give you some advice based on the caliper of the tree, how much fertilizer to put out. Also, in the month of February, fertilize those emerging spring flowering bulbs like crocus, tulips, hyacinths, right before they bloom. That'll give them larger blooms and longer lasting blooms. So there's a couple things you can fertilize in the month of February. Okay, one other chore that you can do in the month of February is divide some of your perennials. As it starts, you start getting a few warmer days. Things are going to start coming alive pretty soon. So most of your perennials, almost all your perennials that are in the gardens are pretty much really dormant. So now's a good time that you can dig them up and divide them. Things like daylilies, some of your Shasta daisies, just different things like that. February is a good time to divide a lot of those perennials. Okay, as we've talked several places in our February garden calendar, we've talked about some of the chores to do for the February garden, and that is basically looking at where your garden site needs to be, or working on your raised bed gardens, maybe your perennial or shrub gardens or whatever. But of course, one thing we always do getting those garden spots ready is to add a soil amendment. The best thing to add is compost. And with that today, we're kind of highlighting the Daddy Pete's compost operation here. And with me I have Melvin York, and Melvin's going to talk a little bit about his operation, how it starts, and what's the steps to get it to this final stage.
Well, our dairy is probably a little different than most. What we do is we actually collect the manure. Our cows are bedded with sawdust instead of sand for that reason, because we do compost. Of course, our feed, we don't do any other no-nos in feed. We never have, as far as a steroid type feed goes. So we like to keep everything consistent. So when you buy Daddy Pete's product, it's the same this year and next year, and it has been the year before. We go through a process of a separator. We separate out the water, and then we do have to bulk it. And then what it does is naturally put in rows and turn by temperature when the temperature's right. We don't do it by days, it's by temperature. So everything's done by temperature. We don't turn until it gets at least 155 degrees. And that's to take care of salmonella, E. coli, any problems that you would have as far as what we like to call bad bugs. And then we don't want to go past like 165, because we want to keep and maintain the beneficial microbes. Okay. So then it's a process, and it usually takes, to get the quality that we want, we usually go 90 days or longer, and works well.
Well, I will say I'm a loyal customer of Daddy Pete's. I've been using Daddy Pete's in my raised beds for, 5 or 6 or 7 years, maybe longer. And we use them at the extension office in our raised bed gardens, and also Melvin's donated compost to the Taylorsville community gardens that we put in place this year, and we'd really appreciate that. But it's excellent compost for any type of gardens. Okay, now we've stepped in here and basically I think it's the bagging room where they bag it and have a lot of the different mixes piled up. We have with us the owner of the farm, Alan Smith, and Melvin York again, and Karen Elliott, which is the general manager. And Alan, I think, is going to just tell us a little bit about the history of Daddy Pete's here.
Thank you. Daddy Pete Farms was actually started by my great-grandfather, Daddy Pete, and back in 1907. And so it's been a family farm. We're a 100-year farm now in Alexander County, just trying to preserve the heritage of the county and agriculture of the county. And as a farm, it came up to my grandfather and then to my father and then to me. I'm a fourth generation. My son Joe Smith is a fifth generation farmer here, so we try to continually pass it from generation to generation. The part that we've tried to do in my generation is to utilize all that the farm produces, such as milk and the manure. So we're trying to utilize all of the resources that we have on the farm, from the milk all the way to the cow manure. So hopefully there's not much left that we don't utilize. We return it back to the soil, and then we also have created these products for the homeowner. So on a personal basis, we're trying to preserve the family farm, the heritage of that, and also we think that that speaks something, kind of for our country and for America and trying to preserve it. This area is kind of a watershed, so we've done a lot of conservation practices that will lend itself into the next generations. Then we have a lot of different types of soils here. The cow manure is the basis of all of the soils that we have, and Melvin York has basically come up with the formulation of the different products that we have.
Okay. Thanks, Alan. I think next, just let Melvin cover the different mixes. We see some behind us, the different colored bags and things. So Melvin, just go ahead and cover the mixes for us that you have.
Okay. Well, we have started with our cow manure. We do have a good professional landscape mix, also for the landscapers. We have a planting mix. We've had real good success with both of these products in other areas. They're what we call our staples or our usuals that everybody does buy, that everybody sells. That's a couple of those. Also our lawn and garden soil. And all of these we've incorporated our cow manure into, which enhances the product. It's a good way that we've taken a byproduct, made a great product, and we kind of feel like we're doing our part for the green application to the United States in doing this, cutting our carbon trails. So by doing that, we've come up with a nursery mix. We've worked with Dr. Ted Bittelback at NC State University on that. Brian Jackson's still doing some research for us. We'll work close with the universities on these. We have a great perennial mix, a nursery mix, a potting mix. Just about anything you can think of, we do have it here. We're full service. And one thing that we've offered here that a lot of companies don't offer is they have a professional grade, and then they have what you say a homeowner grade. We do everything we sell here is professional grade, so the homeowner gets to take advantage of professional grade mixes just like the professional people do. So we're real proud of that. That's one thing that I like to do. We offer the same quality to each and every one, and as y'all look around, you'll kind of see the mixes and see the difference. You can tell on that.
Well, as you know, a lot of the homeowners will use these different mixes for to mix into the garden soil, for maybe a raised bed garden, for flower beds, a lot of different uses. And of course, you can purchase it at different places, and I'm just going to let Karen maybe explain a little bit how much productivity they produce and kind of where maybe they can pick up some of the product.
We run basically a 5-day operation here in the bagging room. We have 2 employees who work 5 days a week running the bagging equipment all the time. And we produce anywhere from 20 to 30 pallets a day. We're getting ready to move into our really busy time, which is basically February to June, where we'll ship multiple tractor trailer loads a day. So that productivity will increase during that time. Employees might increase during that time as well, just depending on what we need to produce and what we need to get out. I think Melvin might be the better one to tell where you can purchase it.
Well, we're pretty well in the surrounding counties. We have them at Killian's Hardware. We have it at Greenwood Nursery, Rogers Mills, and there's several other locations. What would be neat just to take a moment and go on our webpage, www.daddypete's.com, and we do have a store locator. Tells you a little more about the products and also tells you where you can buy that. We do ship as far as we have a customer in Cleveland, Ohio. We go down as far as Live Oaks, and more the concentration in the areas of North South Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, Virginia, Northern Georgia. But you know, we're all ready for growth and we're expanding. We're going out another way.
And I believe you said you would sell just the compost, some bulk, if people were want to buy larger amounts, just a pickup load or something of the compost mix.
Sure.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit about Daddy Pete's. We're going to show you some pictures, a little bit of different shots of the operation here, but just want to thank everybody for letting us come by and learn about this great operation. And it's a wonderful compost. We've used it for years in a lot of different ways with extension and personally myself at my home as well. So thank you all for letting us come by.
Thank you.
Okay, as we kind of come to the end of the February garden calendar, there are a few just general chores you can do in the month of February to get ready for spring. One of those is your bird houses. If you've got bluebird houses or bird box, clean those out. Hopefully you've got a hinged lid that you can do that, but get you a ladder, don't break your neck. Get up there and clean out the old nests and clean those out and get them ready for the new birds that'll be coming in. Also, you can work on your garden plan or your landscape plan. If you plan on putting out some new shrubs or trees or what you're going to plant in the garden, kind of work out a plan, a landscape plan, that garden plan. So you've got a little bit of time, sit down at a table and kind of get that worked out on a piece of paper so you'll know what to buy and how much to buy. Lastly, it's time to order any of your fruits that you want to plant, strawberries, blueberries. We at the Extension Office have our 4-H plant sale going on. Things we have for sale this year are strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. We have several grapes, muscadines, and some bunch grapes. We have a lot of different fruit trees, apples, pears, Asian pears, some cherries, and fig trees. And then finally, something we're trying new this year that some people have requested is asparagus crowns. So contact us at our office 632-4451 if you want a plant sale order form. We'll be taking orders through the month of February. And also you can get a link right off of our webpage, alexanderextension.com. Just go there and pull you off a page or give us a call and we'll take your order. But these plants have been proven to the varieties to grow well in our region in Alexander County. Well, working in the lawn and garden is always a lot of fun, but there's always a lot of questions. So if you have some lawn and garden questions, come by and see us. We're the North Carolina Cooperative Extension. We're located in the back parking lot of First Baptist Church and also right beside the health department. Or give us a call 632-4451 or look us up on the web, alexanderextension.com.